The Grand Slam is theirs! ESL Pro League Season 8 as well! Matthew, can you believe it?
Back-to-back Pro League, Marseille, Season 7, Chicago, and now for the first time ever at home, Season 8, Astralis are the champions of ESL Pro League, and for the first time in history, the best of all fucking time, Intel Grand Slam, it's Astralis!
About a year ago now, I started watching something that I honestly never thought I would like. Esports, or competitive gaming. And since then, I've been watching it. Not occasionally, but often enough that I've probably watched more of it than even my favorite television shows. In the hopes that there are other people who would greatly enjoy the unique content that esports has to offer, I'm going to argue why you should try to watch esports, even if you don't like video games. It's free. This is the most obvious, and probably the most appealing advantage that esports has over other entertainment. Whereas athletic sports are usually only broadcast on specific channels on the television and on the internet that require a paid subscription, almost all esports can be watched for completely free on YouTube and Twitch. This means that, assuming you already have an internet connection, there is absolutely no startup cost to watching. After the games are completed, they are often posted on YouTube for free, so it's also extremely easy to catch up on games you may have missed, or to watch one that you were only able to catch half of. It's obviously not impossible to find some way to watch recorded broadcasts of regular sports, but it's a great deal harder to do so, and it might involve collaboration with some unsavory parts of the internet. Whereas sports are confined by the limits of reality, esports can really be anything. Want to play card games with moves that can't be replicated by a physical card game? How about virtual blood sports where teams of 5 attempt to siege and protect a building in urban warfare? How about soccer, but with cars? Or how about a game where you can play a leaping gorilla scientist with a taser? Okay, I don't think anyone was asking for that last one, but the point remains. The limit of an esports game is the developer's creativity. And that allows for a great deal of variety in the experience you want from your esport of choice. Someone who appreciates slow tactics and methodical problem solving would probably love watching chess or Hearthstone on Twitch, but someone who wants to watch something a little more heart-pounding and flashy might enjoy a first-person shooter like CSGO. There's a game for every mood, really. The digital format in esports also ensures that a game can be relatively easily updated, meaning that new content, rule additions, and game balancing is almost always possible. Anything can be added, from new guns to new abilities to new characters, or even new game modes, making esports an exciting and constantly shifting medium. There's always a new reason to tune in. For me, storylines have always been the most captivating aspect of sports. An individual match, unless it's filled with incredible, heart-pounding moments, is only interesting insofar as it contributes to overall narratives. The decline of a great team, the rise of an exceptional player, and so on. Storylines are why sports are often more fun to talk with friends and coworkers about than to actually watch. And for whatever reason, storylines in esports are incredibly quick. Virtus Pro was one of the greatest CSGO teams of all time in 2017, and they made it to the finals of a major, the premier tournament of the year. Only a year later, they would be languishing at the bottom of the team rankings, losing to Tier 3 opposition and teams that don't even get paid to play. Yikes. In the Overwatch League, the Shanghai Dragons, a Chinese team, put up possibly the worst esports performance of all time during the first season. In fact, they failed to win even a single match. That means they lost 40 games in a row. And by the way, each match was essentially a best of 5, so it's not like they didn't have time to perform a comeback any of the times they played. I'm not gonna lie, the whole season I was kind of hoping they would lose every game so that I could call it the worst performance in history. But then came the redemption arc. The next season, the Shanghai Dragons revamped their roster while retaining 2 of their players, and were able to become a respectable mid-tier team that is able to absolutely clock the lower-tier opposition.
Boston, Axiom, top of the Primal Ridge, but it does not matter! Ladies and gentlemen, history has been made! The Shanghai Dragons, on the 43rd attempt out, managed to pick up their first match victory!
I couldn't tell you why exactly storylines in esports happen so fast, at least not in this video. It would take too long. But the short storylines make it extremely dynamic. And that means there's almost always something new to talk about with your friends or with the internet weirdos who post about esports all day long. So if you're someone who likes their content to be constantly changing, esports may just be your next obsession. You should start watching esports right now. Why? The influx of money that has been dumped by investors into esports as a result of it now being considered a legitimate enterprise with room to grow, while it has a relatively small audience, has made it into content that is incredibly easy to access while being extremely well produced. What that means is that oftentimes even smaller events are well funded and have unnecessary expense. ESL tournaments and leagues funded by huge corporations often have such good production values, you never really feel like you're just watching a bunch of people gaming on a stage. They feel like important events with a real weight and consequence. That influx of money has also led to what I call beautiful disasters. Tournaments with incompetent production and a lack of preparation that can be incredibly fun to watch, in the same way that watching infamously bad film The Room is a joy to make fun of. One great example of this is when Charleroi eSports hired a French house band to dress up as characters from Counter-Strike and play a song in front of what looks to be an audience of like 50 people.
Connection, attraction, attract you love. J'ai un problème dans les oreillettes. Just in love, follow me, magic destination. I'm in love. Désolée, je suis désolée, mais j'ai un problème dans les oreillettes. S'il vous plaît, stop.
Follow me.
Stop.
Oftentimes when tournament hosts get a little too ambitious, we end up with some quality meme material. As with any burgeoning industry, sometimes things can be a little janky in comparison to more established productions. The most disastrous event I've seen to this date was the iBuyPower Masters 4. Aside from having the host and talent broadcast from, is that just a restaurant booth? The event had just awful sound problems that plagued it nearly entirely.
Jumping at pump shot with a 3-on-2 right now. Have a decent look at this one. All up to Ricky.
That was a great little strat, though. Ooh, Ricky, still an opportunity here. Let's knock down that too. Oh,
For whatever reason, I don't know if this is going to be just me, I get an incredible schadenfreude when events have problems like this. Probably in no small part due to Twitch chat, which is always hysterically funny whenever a technical problem is happening. When I was watching the iBuyPower Masters live, I was having so much fun laughing at the truly horrific experience that the event was, I almost didn't notice how badly my ears were being destroyed by that monstrous buzzing sound in the background. Which brings us to the last, but one of the most compelling reasons to watch esports. The chat. If you've ever wanted the experience of hearing a bunch of assholes yell at a TV screen in a sports bar without having to leave the house, Twitch chat will be your nirvana. It's incredibly cool that you can see the reactions of hundreds of people in real time. Oftentimes, chat is juvenile and stupid, and sometimes just plain racist, but it's also the case that a lot of the time it helps build up hype to important games, tells jokes relating to the game, and allows people from around the world to experience something together, all at the same time. It's also something that I think could actually be transferred from esports to regular sports, as channels like ESPN migrate to virtual platforms. I just think it's incredible that I can see the reactions of people I will never meet to what I'm watching from halfway across the world. Esports is an incredibly unique experience that has the potential to become some of the most enduring entertainment available in the future, as the number of video gamers continues to increase across the world. It's 100% free, infinitely improvable, and has a little bit of something for every audience. What good reason is there to not at least try it? Thank you for watching, and I hope you at least consider watching esports if you didn't before. Have a wonderful day.